Let's talk about feeling lonely in your marriage. I think that this is something that has been swept under the rug for a very long time, and most women don't feel comfortable talking about it. I got divorced 3 years ago. Before that, I did feel extremely lonely in my marriage, and I didn't talk to anyone about it. I felt ashamed and like it was my fault and that I had failed, and it was all internally something I was dealing with. I felt like I was supposed to support my partner and never say anything bad about him. So if I talked to my friends about how I was feeling, it was not being a supportive wife. So all these things that aren't true. As women, we deserve to be supported and loved and taken care of, no matter what stage you're in, no matter how old your kids are. So just know that you deserve that. You deserve to be treated well and loved and supported, and that being lonely in your marriage is not okay. Work on it if you want to work on it. Leave if you want to leave, but know that you need to talk to people and that you will get through this one way or another.
Men want attention and will do anything to get it, just like a child.
Let's correct that statement, okay? Some people will do anything for attention and do anything to get it.
They will be good to get attention and they will be bad to get attention.
It's almost like that's part of human behavior.
Stop answering to men when they make childish or pandering or accusatory statements.
Does one mean like this one?
Responding to someone who has interrupted a conversation that they aren't even invited to is like saying it's okay that they're there.
Well, that's nice, but I'm definitely interrupting this conversation.
Ignore, delete, block, whatever you have to do to not trigger a cortisol or endocrine or any kind of response in your body. It's about you.
Now there's a radical change in priorities. Everything is about the individual and their feelings.
The less that you acknowledge that it's happening, the more that it becomes background noise and the more that it literally just doesn't even exist anymore.
But yet, here's a post about it.
But for women to recenter and heal and decenter men and not consider them to be a part of blah, 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 to not consider them, they aren't invited to this piece of ourselves that is working on ourselves, that is working on us being the center.
Yet, ironically, one is still centering men in this conversation.
And no amount of good behavior or bad behavior or tantrum throwing or gesturing is going to get precedence over me and my well-being. Once I'm centering that space, I'm willing and able to listen to anybody.
Just a thought here, but perhaps the best way to get others to listen to what one actually has to say would not be to start out generalizing a group of people just for the sake of grabbing their attention, and then perhaps one's words might actually carry more weight.
The text discusses the concept of the wall and the infatuation stage, which can lead to anxiety and reluctance in relationships, especially for women. This can create a cycle of seeking external affirmation to feel worthwhile, often manifesting in behaviors like seeking validation through social media.
My marriage failed in my 20s, and I want to give y'all some advice if you've never been married before. My marriage failed for a lot of reasons, but I think this is my biggest downfall. I never thought through what kind of husband I wanted. Which probably sounds dumb, but I didn't think it through, and now that I'm divorced, I have a list of the traits I want my future husband to have. I spelled it all out because I'm not settling. I'm going to share with y'all what I wrote so that you can go make your own list. Because even if you got a great boyfriend, you need to think these things through. I was dating my ex for 3 years before we got married. I never made a list. I loved him and that was enough for me. Stupid. You need a list. This list isn't what you want them to look like or anything like that. It's the traits you want them to have, like what type of person you want them to be. I literally wrote out things I want in a husband. I never shared this before because I didn't want men to form themselves to what I want, but I have a boyfriend that's made me add to the list now, so it's okay if I share it. Don't be sharing your list with these men though. All right, things I want in a husband. Loves the outdoors, cuddles in the morning, good hygiene, warm, happy personality, no mental health problems or correctly medicated, surprises me / does cute things, plans dates, bachelor's degree or higher, which my boyfriend doesn't have that, but he has a great career, so that one was kind of superficial anyways. Good job, nice vehicle, that one was superficial too, and my boyfriend's vehicle is a junker, but it made me appreciate my car now. Anyways, manly man, spiritual leader, lives an active, healthy life, can do projects, very sexual, puts me in my place. I got that one underlined too. Never calls me mean words, likes to dance, good with money, enjoys creating social media content with me, motivates me to be my best self. If you don't have a list, go make yourself one. And if you're on any sort of self-discovery journey, I 10 out of 10 recommend journaling. I bought this at the beginning of my journey. I was 230 pounds And I wrote in here, like, I am here to rediscover myself. This was my best friend throughout my weight loss journey. I've even gotten angry before and like ripped pages out of it, but I put them back for, the story.
Oh, honey, if only I had an easy answer for this one. Honestly, that's another misguided phrase people employ that also drives me crazy. Why are you still single? Unless it's asked facetiously, like, how are you still single? You're fucking awesome. But when people ask as if it's a problem they're trying to get to the root of, I can't stand it. And I don't know if you, like me, have done some self-reflection over the years and have tried to come up with an earnest answer. Because the truth is, I probably didn't put myself out there as much as I should have throughout most of my 20s. I had a lot of insecurities I let hold me back, and I was much more passive about connections coming to me rather than seeking them. But then again, I have friends my age who were aggressively dating during this time, and they're also still single. And I have never once looked at these women and thought, well, you're single because there must be something wrong with you. Are there things they could stand to work on or improve within themselves? Absolutely, but that's not exclusive to single people. We're all learning and growing. It doesn't mean we're not worthy of finding a partner to do that alongside. No matter what you do or don't do, there is not one single strategy on this earth that is going to make a suitable partner just appear. Anyone who tells you otherwise is selling something. And that's not to say what dating coaches are selling isn't always legit, because some of them certainly do have some helpful insights and advice, but none of them are going to pull your future husband out of their back pocket. Personally, I can't stand when people refer to dating as a numbers game, meaning the more people you go out with, the more likely you are to find someone. No. For me, quality trumps quantity. Saying yes to a bunch of mediocre dates when I know before going in that they're not the one is not helpful to me. And that's not to say I don't give men I'm doubtful about a chance, because believe me, I do. But I also don't want to waste anyone's time, mine or theirs. Yes, the more you put yourself out there and get to know other human beings, the more likely it is you'll find someone. But that doesn't mean you have to go on a date with everyone. There are other ways to meet people. Hone your hobbies. And let's remember, just because someone has found someone else doesn't mean it will last. People break up and get divorced all the time. People who meet their partner in their late teens or early 20s and are together for 7, 8, 9 years. Sometimes they outgrow each other and the relationship doesn't last. Having someone at present isn't a guarantee for the future, even if you both commit to it. And while I'd like to believe there's a lid for every pot, some lids are just harder to come by. Some pots are more basic. They're easy to pair with any lid. Doesn't mean it's the lid for you or that you have to settle for a lid that's good enough. And it doesn't mean there's anything inherently wrong with the pot or that it can't make a damn good soup. You just have to search a little harder if you want to find its counterpart. I probably overextended this metaphor, but I'm not mad about it. Point is, love and relationships come easier to some than they do to others, but it doesn't mean you're unworthy of receiving any of it.
The societal double standard between men and women is also discussed, with women often facing backlash for having standards, while men may be labeled negatively. This inconsistency can create frustration and reinforce negative stereotypes that hinder genuine connection.
Say this, and I am going to pin this to my profile. When I say that I am a single woman and I am happy, this does not mean that I don't like relationships, that I hate relationships, that I don't see the benefit in relationships, or that I never want a relationship. It just means that I am single and I am happy, and I am not going to place everything on finding a partner. That is it. That is all it means. How is it so embedded in your brains? You have brain rot from the association that single women must always be miserable in the incessant pursuit of a relationship to find worth and value and meaning in this world. That when a single woman says she's happy, you immediately take that as some sort of reflection of what she believes about relationships. Single women, single people can be single and be happy and still leave room for someone incredible to come into our lives that could bring an incredibly enriching experience. That is more than possible. And my frustration, my fire around this comes from the fact that when I dare say that I'm happy, when I'm just out here thriving, living my life, creating, figuring it out, trying to figure out what the hell is going on in this world, that is taken as some mission statement about what I think about relationships. Are you mad? Are you actually mad? Because there's no correlation between the two at all. Embracing your life for what it has to offer you today is the number one way to just be happy, instead of living in constant want. I do not promote being in a relationship is better or being single as better. I promote the idea that you choose for you what is best and I will choose for me what is best. And then we respect the differences between us on our own individual journeys. Is that so hard to grasp? And as much fun as it is to talk like this, what I want to say is that loving, healthy, supportive, mutual relationships, 10 out of 10, back that horse, ride it all the way into the sunset, 100%. But also know that your life has so much to offer, whether you are in a relationship or out of a relationship, whether you have that or never find it at all. You have so much to discover.
Women are not meant to work 9-to-5 jobs.
Well, this should be interesting.
I've said this before and I'll say it again. We shouldn't have to work 9-to-5 jobs.
What should we, women, be doing with our time?
Women are meant to go to Pilates class, stand by a pool, read a good book, take care of the children, make good food, and be provided for by a man.
It sounds like one thinks that only the men should have to work. I mean, how far back in time do we want to go? Does one still want the ability to be able to vote?
There's no way a woman can be in her feminine energy if she's sitting at a 9-to-5 job or she's unhappy.
Oh, good. That feminine energy thing. Again.
First part is there's women out there that are having to fill that masculine role in the office, getting things done.
Working is masculine now, and so apparently is getting things done. Noted.
Because they have to be. They're covering bills. They're paying for half of dinner when a man should be paying for the tab every time.
I guess some women don't really want to be independent women, do they?
Did we as a society decide that women should go to a 9-to-5 job, feel some gratification, instead of staying at home with the kids?
It never ceases to amaze me how many individuals actually seem to have entirely skipped history class of how hard so many women and men had to work just so that women could be seen as equals in society.
If a woman wants to work part-time so she can spend more time with her kids at home, she should be able to do that. And don't get me wrong, if you want to work a 9-to-5 job, you go do that. But I'm just saying, women shouldn't have to.
Well then, in the spirit of equality, I guess that means that men shouldn't have to work either. But let's see how well that'll go for society when everybody is so entitled that they don't think that they have to work.
The pressure to find a partner who meets high expectations, such as financial stability, attractiveness, and compatibility, can lead to disappointment, as many women wait for a perfect match rather than embracing the idea of growing together with someone who may not initially meet all their criteria. This desire for a ready-made relationship can contribute to loneliness and dissatisfaction.
I just saw my ex on a dating app and oh my god, the lies he put on it. When I first saw it, my heart dropped. I was like, oh shit. And then I was fine because it was just way too hilarious to not laugh at. Half of the pictures I took and then all of the prompts were a lie. Like he was like, I'm tall and rich. I'm like, you're neither of those. I just thought it was funny, but it's so nice to like get that behind me. Like, you know, like the things that you kind of are nervous for, like you're nervous for running into them in public, you're nervous for seeing them on a dating app or whatever, and it's like that happened and that wasn't even bad, and I feel great. Anyway, it's just so funny. I don't know if it's gonna hit me later that I saw that and I'll be sad, but I don't think so. That's also a big red flag. If people are lying on the dating app, like, run. Like, they are just liars and they will not change. Run.
Men are losing their mind over a recent video that I made explaining how you leaving a good guy doesn't make you a bad person. Your spouse doesn't have to be abusive in order for your feelings of wanting to leave to be valid. There are dozens of reasons why marriages fall apart, and a lot of them have nothing to do with somebody being a bad person. Here are some examples. Financial problems, growing apart, communication issues, addiction, too much arguing, lack of emotional or physical intimacy, one spouse just isn't carrying their weight in the marriage, maybe you married too young or for the wrong reasons, opposing values or lack of shared interests. Or maybe you just live like platonic roommates. Those are all very common reasons for divorce, and it doesn't make you or your spouse a bad person.
Lastly, the idea that being single is equated with failure or unhappiness can be damaging. People often proclaim they are happy being single as a defense mechanism against societal judgment. But this can sometimes mask deeper feelings of loneliness or longing for connection.
Imagine if men got on this app and said, oh yeah, we're going to participate in the 4 Bs. If us men were to sit here and create a movement where we wanted to no longer center women and we wanted to keep to ourselves and stay far away from them as possible, I think that they would absolutely love that. I think if every woman on the planet had the choice to be a lesbian, they would absolutely take it. I ain't trying to sound like no simp or nothing, but bro, us as men, we suck. We're their number one unaliver by a mile, bro. Like, the vast majority of us are extremely dangerous to them. And they have a right to feel how they want to feel. And all they're saying is they just don't want to center us anymore. You know what I mean? If you really that guy, earn them. I mean, what's the problem? I mean, you ain't got no riz, you ain't got no game. I mean, are you a terrible person? If that's not you, then why are you getting so uptight about this movement? You want to change their minds, earn them back. They're just letting you know that us men ain't the only ones with all this power. They got the keys now. And without them, civilization doesn't move, bro. They're demanding their respect, deservingly so. So how about we give it to them, earn them back, so we can get this ish back on the roll. If not, they're out of here, buddy. And that's not on them, that's on us. Respectfully.
Personally, as a man, I don't support all movements.
Korean women have no idea what the 4B movement is, and we need to stop this misinformation.
Okay, so thank you to my friend Annie for making that video, because I am a Korean woman currently living in Korea and I have so much to say about this topic. So most of the 4B movement videos that I've seen on TikTok are made from foreigners, and I think Korean Americans or just Asian people living in the West, but not actually people living in Korea. So like I said, I live in Seoul. What I think is happening is the Western media likes to really pick up on these sensationalist, provocative topics and then makes it into an article, and then everyone on TikTok follows suit and makes videos about it. But let me tell you, I am 29, going to turn 30 this year, and literally all the conversations that I have with my friends around my age is about, oh my god, we're looking to get married, we need to find good partners, and we need to do this before it gets too late or we're just like aged out of their marriage market, you know? And I just made a YouTube video about this, Korea's population crisis, why nobody's getting married or having babies. But I also explained there are services in Korea like marriage matchmaking services where people go and you pay a broker and you submit all this information about yourself, your income, your assets, your family background, if you have any debt, like which university you went to, you submit all that information, and then they take that and then they will try to match you up with people who they think that you're on par with. So you know how you see in K-dramas how like the poor girl ends up marrying the richest CEO of Korea? Yeah, in reality that never happens. So people go to these marriage services and they're heavily used. There are literally so many in the country because everyone is using them. And so the 4B movement in Korea is a very, very small fraction of the whole Korean population in general. It's just the Western media likes to highlight that part and make it seem like it's the biggest issue in Korea, which it really is not. I can promise you that. Don't believe all those sensational articles written online all the time. Most people in Korea still like the other sex. We want to date, we want to find love, we want to get married. Those are like the big majority. And it's only the small group of extreme radical misandrists and extreme radical misogynists. They just seem like the loudest because the most attention goes to them. But yeah, I literally just dropped a YouTube video explaining about this whole thing. So go watch it, Anna Lee on YouTube.
In a world where worth is often equated with relationship status, it's crucial to recognize that fulfillment can come from various sources such as self-discovery, friendships, and personal growth, rather than solely through romantic relationships.
If you don't start to comply, we will start selling you on the market like cattle. We have all the guns, don't forget that. Okay, I know that guys are inherently slower than women are. I mean, sorry, but it is what it is, okay? So I'm going to help you out here. What you don't comprehend is that women have been living in fear of men from birth. Okay, so these threats, this means absolutely nothing to me, okay? What's happening is you're angry because you're lonely. Things are not going the way you thought they would. You thought it would just be easy for you and you would coast through life and get everything you want. And that's not happening. That's not happening. And where you are is at a fork in the road, guys, okay? So you have two choices. A, you can continue down the path that you're on and behaving the way that you do, and then you will legit die alone. Okay, your biggest fear, you will die alone. Okay, nobody will be by your side. Or the option I recommend is to go to therapy, work on yourself, become better human beings, and then hope like hell a woman picks you one day. Okay? Because the tables have turned. You don't understand that we do not need you anymore. We do not care. You serve very little purpose, okay? You're not providers. You're certainly not protectors. I mean, you're making threats against us right there. So you can't protect us. You're a threat to us. And you're not providing anything financially or otherwise. You're not even nice. You guys are at a fork in the road. Choose wisely, okay? May the odds forever be in your favor. Good luck. Good luck.
In conclusion, navigating relationships is a complex dance of emotions, societal expectations, and personal growth. And that wraps up today's episode of Manosphere Daily. If you enjoyed the content, give it a like. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified as soon as a new video is out. Share your thoughts in the comments below. See you all tomorrow.